This video is about time value of money. What is time value of money? Time value of money refers to the observation that it's better to receive money sooner than later. Why? Because money that you have in your hand today can be invested to earn a positive rate of return and producing more money tomorrow. For that reason, $1 today is worth more than $1 in the future. There are two types of concepts in time value of money. The first one is compounding concept. The second one is discounting concept. So what is compounding concept? Compounding concept is a concept where you want to find out what is the future value of current value or present value. Whereas the discounting concept is a concept where you use to calculate the present value of future amount of money. Okay, so if you want to find a future value, then you need to compounding the current value. If you want to calculate the present value, you need to discounting the future value. Next, I'll show you about timeline. Timeline is very important when you want to understand case in time value of money. In timeline, you can illustrate what are the current cash flow and what is the future cash flow occur in your case. For example, here we have one example. Suppose a firm has opportunity to spend $15,000 today on some investment that will produce $17,000 spread out over the next 5 years as follows. Year 1, you receive $3,000. Year 2, $5,000. Year 3, $4,000. Year 4, $3,000. Year 5, $2,000. So total income from this investment is $17,000. So basically, to understand this case, you can illustrate timeline for this time value of money case. Okay, so what is timeline? You can have one straight line. Okay, then you can put the year from year 0. Year 0 means current year or present year. Okay, and you can plot out all the years in your case. So in this case, we have 5 years. In this case, we have 5 years. Okay, and then in timeline, you can put the cash flow occurs at every time period. Okay, for example, in this case, you need to spend $15,000 today. So when you spend money, it is a cash outflow. So in timeline, if you need to pay something or if it's a cash outflow, you need to put it as a negative. So negative $15,000 at year 0 means you pay $15,000. And then from that investment, you will receive $3,000 in year 1. So you put $3,000 positive in year 1. $5,000 income year 2, so positive $5,000. Year 3, $4,000 positive income. Year 4, $3,000 positive income or cash inflow. And last one is $2,000 cash flow for year 5. Next, I'll explain about types of cash flow. Okay, so basically we have 3 types of cash flow. The first one, we call it a single amount cash flow. So what is single amount cash flow? It is a lump sum amount either currently held or expected at some future date. Single amount cash flow only occurs once. Okay, for example, you receive 800 ringgit today. Okay, so today is year 0. So if you draw the timeline, you have one timeline here from year 0 and I put it until year 5. So you receive 800 ringgit today. So 800 today is at year 0. So this is the present value. So I put it positive because it is a cash inflow. If the example said you need to pay 800 today, so you can put 800 with negative sign showing that it is a cash outflow. The second type of cash flow is annuity cash flow. What is annuity cash flow? It is a level periodic stream of cash flow. Okay, so it's to be an annuity cash flow. First, the condition, you must receive same amount of money. each time period. Okay, for example, in this case, you receive 1,000 ringgit at the end of each next 5 years. So every year from now until year 5, you will receive 1,000. So if you draw the timeline, okay, so we have one straight line from year 0 until year 5, and every year you put 1,000 positive. Okay, so this is annuity because the amount is same, the period is also same. Okay, every year. The third type of cash flow is mixed stream cash flow. What is mixed stream cash flow? It is a stream of cash flow that is not an annuity, a stream of unequal periodic cash flow that reflects no particular pattern. For example, you receive 11,500 ringgit in year 1, 14,000 in year 2, 12,900 in year 3, 16,000 in year 4, and 18,000 in year 5. So if you put it in the timeline, you can see that every year you receive different amount of money. Okay, so this is example for mixed stream cash flow. Next, I'll explain about term and sign in time value of money. So in this slide, I will use this sign. Okay, PV means present value, FY for future value, IY for interest rate, N for number of year, M is number of compounding in 1 year. And the last one is PMT is the annuity amount. Compounding interest. So what is compounding interest? Interest charged by the bank or offered by any investment can be compounded annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or daily. Annually means bank will charge the interest rate once a year. Quarterly, 4 times a year. Monthly, 12 times per year. Weekly compounding interest rate means interest rate is charged 52 times per year. And daily compounding interest means interest rate is charged 365 times daily per year. Okay, so when you have compounding interest rate, okay, it will affect the interest rate charge for that time and the period. Okay, so the effect is for IY means the interest charge for annually. Okay, you need to divide by 1. Okay, because M is equal to 1. For IY, effect of compounding interest is IY interest rate divided by M. M is number of compounding. For annual, for the period, which is the N you need to times by or multiply by number of compounding. PMT is the annuity amount. Annuity amount you need to divide by M. Okay, so for example, for quarterly, the M is 4. So the interest rate charge you need to divide by 4. Period of the investment you need to times by 4. And annuity amount you need to divide by 4. Okay, so you can refer to this table. What is the effect of difference number of compounding times to the interest rate, period, and annuity amount? Let's move to the financial calculator. Alright, so for this subject, I'm using financial calculator BA2 Plus Texas Instrument. This is the easiest, one of the easiest calculator to use for financial calculation. Okay, so for time value of money, we will use a few buttons here. Okay, if you can see from the slide, CPT means compute or calculate. Okay, so if you use this calculator, you want to ask the calculator to calculate some things, then you press CPT and then you press the next button you want to calculate. For example, if you want to calculate future value, you key in all the data and then you press CPT and then button FV. Okay, so for time value of money, we use button CPT, and then we have the third row button, which is N. This is for year. IY is for interest rate. PV is for present value. PMT is the annuity amount, and FV is the future value. Okay, let's move to the single amount cash flow. Okay, so how to calculate present value and future value for single amount cash flow. First, I show you how to calculate future value of single amount. Example, here we have question, calculate amount of money that you have in your account after 20 years if you deposit 5,000 ringgit today in the saving account with interest rate 0.5% annually. Okay, so when you read the question, first you must identify what is the compounding interest rate. Here it states that 0.5% annually. That means M equal to 1. Okay, alright. So step number 1, to answer question future value of single amount or any calculation in time value of money, you must draw the timeline so that you can understand the case better. Okay, so you can draw, in this case, you have one timeline from year 0 until year 20. So in this case, N is equal to 20. Okay, the present value given in the question is 5,000 ringgit today. The interest rate is 0.5% and then you have M equal to 1. Next step, you can calculate using financial calculator. To use financial calculator, before you start any calculation for time value of money, you need to clear up data in your financial calculator. So if you can see here, every time you want to start your calculation, you must press button second reset. So reset is button plus minus at the bottom of financial calculator, and then you press button enter and then CEC. So this 4 button is used to clear up all the memory in the financial calculator. Okay, so each time you want to start to calculate time value of money or any calculation in financial calculator, you need to press second reset, enter, CEC. Then you can start plug in all the data for your case. Okay, so how to key in data in the financial calculator? For example, you want to key in number of years, which is N. So you press 20 to 0 and then you press button N. Okay, so financial calculator, you press the data first and then you press the button function. For example, to key in year equal to 20, you press 20 and then press N. To key in the interest rate, which is 0.5%, you press 0.5 and then button IY. By using financial calculator, the interest rate, you don't need to divide by 100. For example, interest rate 0.5%, you don't need to 0.5 divide by 100, so you get 0.005. Okay, so let's say your interest rate is 8%, so you just plug in 8. Okay, so in this case, interest rate is 0.5, so you press 0.5 and then press button IY, and then you press 5,000, okay, and then you enter button PV, and then you press CPT, and then you press button FV, and you get the answer 5,524 ringgit and 48 cents. Alright, next I'll show you how to calculate future value of single amount for non-annual compounding interest rate. For example, here we have calculate amount of money that you have in your account after 20 years if you deposit 5,000 ringgit today in the saving account with interest rate 0.5% compounded semi-annually. Okay, so interest rate here is 0.5% compounded semi-annually. That means M is equal to 2. So the effect to your cash flow, present value is still 5,000. Interest rate, as I mentioned before, interest rate is actually interest rate divided by number of M. So 0.5% divided by 2, you get 0.25%. And then period or time of the period of your investment, 20 years, times by number of interest compounding, which is 2, so you get 40. Okay, so then you plug in into your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, and then you press CEC, clear everything in your financial calculator. Then you press 40 and then N, 0.25, and then press button IY, 5,000, and then press button PV, and then CPT, you press button FV. So you get answer 5,500 ringgit, 25.17. Now I show you how to calculate present value of single amount annual compounding. Okay, example we have here, calculate amount of money that you need to deposit in your saving account today if you want to have 10,000 ringgit in 20 years time. The saving account offer you 8% of return annually. Okay, so in this example, interest rate is charged annually, 8%. Okay, so you have future value 10,000 ringgit. So how much is this? How much is this 10,000 ringgit today? Okay, so if you draw the timeline, okay, year 0 until year 20. In year 20, you put FV 10,000 ringgit. Year 0, present value PV. Okay, this is what you want to calculate. The interest rate is IY. And then the M or the interest compounding is 1 annually. Okay, so this is your timeline. And then step number 2, you can calculate using financial calculator. If you want to calculate present value, then you must CPT present value, compute present value. So to start, you press second, reset, enter, CEC, and then you press 20, and then you press 8, IY, and then you press 10,000, the future value, and then you press CPT, and then button PV. So you get the answer, 2,145 ringgit 48 cents. To calculate the present value of single amount for non-annual compounding, okay, the example is, calculate amount of money that you need to deposit in your saving account today if you want to have 10,000 ringgit in 20 years time. The saving account offer you 8% of return quarterly. Okay, so it's stated here 8% of return quarterly means the interest rate is charged quarterly. Okay, so you have your timeline here, year 0 until year 20. Okay, but when your interest rate is charged quarterly, that means N, you need to multiply with number of M, number of compounding. So quarterly, number of M is equal to 4. So for N, 20 times 4, so you get 80 for your N. Interest rate, IY divide by M, which is 4, so you get 2%. Okay, so after you identify all the information, you can calculate using your financial calculator. You press second, reset, enter, CEC, and then you plug in 80 N, and then IY, you put it as a 2, and then future value is 10,000, CPT, PV, so you get RM 2,051 ringgit and 10 cents. Next, we look at the calculation for annuity cash flow for present and future value. The first example, future value of annuity for annual compounding. Okay, the question is, calculate amount of money that you have in your account after 10 years if you deposit 5,000 ringgit every year with interest rate 10% annually. Okay, so first you can draw the timeline. Okay, so the period is 10 years, so you can draw one straight line from year 0 until year 10. Okay, and then you put the PMT, which is the annuity amount, is 5,000 ringgit per year. Interest rate is 10%. M, or number of compounding, is equal to 1 because interest rate charged annually. Okay, then you can start calculate the future value by using financial calculator. First, you clear all the data in your financial calculator. You press second, reset, enter, and then CEC. Okay, then you press 10 and then you key in N. Okay, you key in the interest rate 10%, you press 10, IY, and then amount of PMT or annuity amount is 5,000. So you press 5,000, 5000, and then press button PMT, and then you press button CPT, and then FV. You get the future value as 79,687 ringgit and 12 cents. This is example for future value of annuity for non-annual compounding. Calculate amount of money that you have in your account after 10 years if you deposit 5,000 ringgit every year with interest rate of 10% semi-annually. Okay, so you draw the timeline, okay, from year 0 until year 10. Okay, so PMT, the first you need to identify number of M. So interest rate is charged semi-annually, so M equal to 2. For PMT divide by M, so 5,000 divide by M, you get 2,500. Number of M is 2. IY, the interest rate, you need to divide by 2. 10% divide by 2, so you get 5%. And the number of years you times by M, 10 years times 2, so you get 20 years. Okay, then you can calculate using a financial calculator. Okay, second, reset, enter, CEC, clear the data. So number of N here is 20. Number of interest rate is 5. PMT amount is 2,500. And then CPT, you press button CPT, FV, you get 82,664 ringgit 89 cents. Next, I show you how to calculate present value of annuity for annual compounding. The question is, calculate amount of money that you need to deposit in your saving account today if you want to withdraw 10,000 ringgit every year for the next 15 years. Your saving account pay 4% interest annually. Okay, so if you draw the timeline, okay, so you have year 0 until year 15. Okay, so you put PV and then question mark. That shows that you want to calculate PV or present value. The PMT here is 1,000 ringgit. The interest rate is 4%, and number of compounding is 1 because interest rate is charged annually. Alright, then you can calculate using your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, CEC, and then you plug in 15, and then you press button N for years. You press 4, and then button IY, interest rate. And then PMT or annuity amount is 1,000. So you press 1,000 PMT, and then you press CPT, and then press button PV. So you get the answer is 11,118 ringgit 39 cents. This is example for present value of annuity or non-annual compounding. Okay. Calculate amount of money that you need to deposit in your saving account today if you want to withdraw 10,000 ringgit every year for the next 15 years. Your saving account pay 4% interest quarterly. Okay, so you draw the timeline. Okay, in this case, interest rate is charged 4% quarterly. That means number of M or number of compounding is equal to 4. Okay, so you put question mark for PV. So that means you want to calculate PV. PMT is 1,000, but you need to divide by number of M. So divide by 4, so you get 250. So that is your annuity amount. Interest rate, you need to divide by number of M. So IY divide by 4. So 4% divided by 4, so you get 1%. M is equal to 4. And number of years, you need to multiply by number of compounding, which is 4. So you get 60. Okay, so you plug in all the data into your financial calculator. First, you clear up all the data in that you keep in your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, CEC. Okay, so 60, and then you key in 60 N. 1 is the interest rate, IY. 250 50 is the annuity amount. You press PMT and then CPT PV. So you get 11,238 ringgit.76. So next we move to the present value of perpetuity. What is perpetuity? Alright. Perpetuity is an annuity with an infinite life. In other words, it is an annuity that never stops providing its holder with a cash flow at the end of each year. For example, the right to receive 500 ringgit at the end of each year forever. Okay, so there is no time limit to receive annuity. So that is perpetuity. So the formula to calculate present value for perpetuity, okay, the formula is annuity cash flow divided by IY. IY here means the interest rate. This is example how to calculate present value of perpetuity. Okay, Rose Clark wished to endow a chair in finance at his alma mater. The university indicate that it requires 200,000 per year to support the chair, and the endowment would earn 10% per year. To determine the amount Rose must give to the university to fund the chair, we must determine the present value of 200,000 perpetuity discounted at 10%. Okay, so annuity cash flow is 200,000, interest rate 10%, so 200,000 divided by 10%, so you get 2 million. Okay, so the present value of perpetuity in this case is 2 million. Now we move to the calculation mixed stream cash flow for present and future value. This is example for mixed stream cash flow for future value. Shrell Industries, a cabinet manufacturer, expect to receive the following mixed stream of cash flow over the next 5 years from one of its small customers. The firm expects to earn at least 8% on investment. How much will it accumulate by the end of year 5 if it immediately invests this cash flow when they are received? So this is the mixed stream cash flow. If you refer to the table, in year 1, the company received 11,500, year 2, 14,000, year 3, 12,900, year 4, 16,000, and year 5, 18,000. Okay, so basically to calculate the future value of mixed stream, you need to calculate future value for each cash flow. If you draw the cash flow in the timeline, you can see from this diagram, okay, year 0, year 1, I put cash flow 1 equal to 11,500 positive, that means you receive that money. CF2, it is for cash flow year 2, 14,000 positive. CF3, 12,900. CF4, 16,000. CF5, 18,500. So if you want to know what is the future value of all this cash flow, you must calculate future value for each of the cash flow. Okay, for example, cash flow year 1, 11,500. You must calculate the value for this amount of money at year 5. That means if you look at arrow with a green color or gray color here, okay, CF1 11,500, I want to compounding it into year 5. Okay, so that's mean I want to compounding this amount of money at year 1 until year 5. So we have 4 years here. From year 1 to year 5, the period is 4 years. Okay, so if you refer to the information I write here, PV is equal to 11,500. IY is the interest rate, 8%. Number of N is 4. Why 4? Because from year 1 to year 5 is 4 years. Okay, and then you can compute future value for CF1, you get 15,645.62. For year 2, to bring to year 5, you need to compounding it for 3 years. That's why N equal to 3. That is for CF2. Now we look at CF3. CF3, 12,900. You need to compounding it to year 5. So year 3 to year 5, you move it for 2 years. That's why the N here is 2. Cash flow year 4, you need to bring it at year 5. Okay, so the compounding period is only 1. That's why N equal to 1. And then CF5, this cash flow year 5 is occurs in year 5. So you don't need to calculate the future value of CF5 because it's already occurred in year 5. Okay, so that's why number of N equal to 0. So you calculate each of the future value for each cash flow and then you sum up that amount. So total future value for mixed stream cash flow is 83,608 ringgit and 15 cents. Okay, so for mixed stream cash flow, the key important point, you need to know how long you want to compounding your cash flow. Okay, so you must know from, for example, year 1 to move to year 5. So it's take 4 years. Okay, so 1 to 5 is 4 years. That's why N equal to 4. Next, I'll show you how to calculate present value of mixed stream cash flow. Okay, Shell Industry, a cabinet manufacturer, expect to receive the following mixed stream of cash flow over the next 5 years from its small customer. If the firm expects to earn at least 8% on investment, how much is the cash flow worth today? Okay, so basically, same example that I used for future value just now, but I change it, calculate the present value. So instead of compounding the cash flow to future value, to calculate present value, I discounting cash flow to the present value. Okay, so if you refer to this timeline, okay, I bring back the future cash flow to the current year, which is I want to calculate present value for each cash flow. Okay, so for example, cash flow year 1, I want to bring it back to year 0. Okay, so it's only take 1 year. So that's why the N here for cash flow year 1, N is equal to 1. For cash flow 2, okay, you move it for 2 years from year 2 to year 0. So the number of N is 2. Okay, and so on for cash flow number 3, 4, and 5. And then after you calculate present value for each cash flow occur in this investment, you sum up, you get the total present value of the cash flow. Now I'll explain about nominal and effective annual interest rate. What is nominal annual rate, or sometimes we call it as a stated annual rate? Nominal annual rate is contractual annual of interest charged by a lender or promised by a borrower. So nominal annual rate is actually the interest rate stated in your loan agreement. For example, banks said interest 4% compounding monthly. So that is your annual rate. What is the effective annual rate? Or sometimes we call it as a true annual rate. Effective annual rate is the actual rate of interest paid annually by the borrower, considering the effect of compounding frequency. So the formula of effective annual rate is 1 plus R divided by M to the power of M minus 1. Okay. We look at example for effective annual rate. Okay, in this example, Fred Moreno wished to find the effective annual rate associated with an 8% annual rate R equal to 0.08 when interest compounded annually, that means M equal to 1, semi-annually, number of compounding equal to 2, and quarterly, number of compounding equal to 4. So you substitute all the figures in the formula. For annual compounding, effective annual rate 1 plus 0.08 divided by m equal to 1 to the power of m equal to 1 minus 1. So you get basically 8%. For semi-annual compounding, okay, 1 plus 0.08 divided by number of m here is 2, and then to the power of 2 minus 1. So basically you get 8.16%, and for quarterly compounding m equal to 4, so you get 8.24%. So in this example, you can see that even though in the loan agreement it stated 8%, okay, for example, you have two offers. Bank A offer you 8% annually. Bank B offer you 8% semi-annually. Then you say you think that both interest rate is same. No, it's not same. Okay, it's not equal. Okay, so that's why you need to calculate the effective annual rate when you want to compare your investment alternative. So how to calculate N using financial calculators? Okay, so we have done all the calculation with the time value of money. Now, let's say you want to find the number of N, which is number of years. So it is easy to calculate number of years by using financial calculator. Okay, so this is financial calculator. This time you want to calculate N. So how to calculate N? For example, this is for single cash flow. Alright, this is how to calculate N, number of years for single cash flow non-annual compounding. How long do you need to invest for 3,000 today to become 10,000 ringgit if the return offered by the investment is 8% semi-annual compounding, means M equal to 2. So if you draw the timeline, okay, present value 3,000 today, interest rate 8%, divide by number of compounding, divide by 2, so you get 4%, M equal to 2, future value is 10,000, N is question mark, you want to calculate N, okay, so you second, reset, enter, CEC, clear all the data in your financial calculator, and then you plug in 4, interest rate, IY, 3,000 positive PV, present value, negative 10,000 FV, future value, and then you compute N, you get 30.70. Okay, but if the question or the interest rate is non-annual compounding, the answer that you get from the financial calculator, you need to divide by number of M or number of compounding. So divide by 2, you get 15.35 years. Okay, next, to calculate number of years for annuity annual compounding. Okay, for example, you want to borrow 25,000 to buy an apartment. You can only afford 4,800 ringgit per year to repay the loan. Suppose the bank charge you fixed interest rate of 11% annually. How long will it take you to pay off the loan? Okay, so you draw the timeline. Okay, today you borrow 25,000 present value, and every year you pay 4,800. So in this case, present value PV 25,000 cash inflow. You receive that money and you need to pay every year 4,800. So you need to put negative for PMT when you key in your financial calculator. The interest rate is 11%. Number of compounding is 1. So you need to calculate N. So second, reset, enter, CEC, clear the data in your financial calculator. Then you press 11, IY, 25,000 present value, negative 4,800 PMT, CPT, N, and you get the answer 8.15 years. Next, how to calculate N number of years for annuity non-annual compounding. Okay, so for example here, you want to borrow 25,000 to buy an apartment and you can only afford 4,800 per year to repay the loan. Suppose the bank charge you a fixed rate of 12% compounded quarterly. How long will it take you to pay off the loan? So 12% compounded quarterly, M equal to 4. Okay, so present value, today you borrow 25,000. The PMT means 4,800 divided by M, so you get 1,200. IY interest rate, okay, 12% divided by 4, so you get 3%. Then you need to calculate number of N. Okay, so use your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter CEC, and then you press button 3 IY, 25,000 PV, and then negative 1,200 PMT, and then compute N, okay, CPT N, and you get answer 33.18. Okay, so you need to divide by number of M. Okay, if you use if the interest rate is non-annual compounding, you need to divide by number of M, so you get 8.3 years. Next, I'll show you how to calculate IY using financial calculator. So this time, you want to calculate the interest rate or rate of return. Okay, so we still use the same button for time value of money, but this time, use compute. The last thing you need to press is compute IY. Example, this one is to calculate interest rate, single cash flow annual compounding. Bank offer you investment instrument which makes your 1,000 ringgit today worth 5,000 ringgit in 3 years time. What is the rate of return from the investment? Okay, if you draw the timeline, okay, you have one straight line from year 0 until year 3. Okay, so present value today is 1,000, future value is 5,000. Okay, you don't know how much is the interest rate, so IY, I put it question mark, and then number of compounding M is equal to 1. Okay, so you use your financial calculator, clear up all the data in the financial calculator. Second, reset, enter CEC, and then you press 3 N, 1,000, you press present value, 5,000, you put negative future value, because financial calculator understand today you get 1,000, future value you need to pay 5,000. It's financial calculator must have cash inflow and cash outflow information. Alright, and then compute IY. Okay, when you compute IY, you get answer 71%. Okay, this slide explained about how to calculate interest rate for single cash flow non-annual compounding. Okay, in this example, bank offer investment instrument which makes your 1,000 ringgit today worth 5,000 in 3 years time. What is the rate of return from the investment if it is compounded semi-annually? Okay, so step number 1, you draw the timeline. So present value 1,000, future value 5,000. Okay, the interest rate is compounded semi-annually. That's mean M equal to 2. Okay, so N, investment period, 3 times number of compounding, which is 2. So you get 6. Okay, then you press or you use your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter CEC to clear the financial calculator data. Okay, then you put N, in this case is 6, 1,000 present value, 5,000 negative future value, and then compute IY, you get answer 30.77. But for non-annual compounding, you need to times by number of compounding, which is 2, so you get 61.53%. Next, how to calculate interest rate for annuity annual compounding. For example, Jacob can borrow 2,000 today to be repaid in equal annuity payment of 514 ringgit 14 cents per year for the next 5 years. Calculate his rate of return if it is charged annually. So you draw the timeline. Today, you borrow 2,000. And then every year you need to pay $514.14. Okay, so IY is question mark. You don't know how much is the IY. M, interest charge annually. So M equal to 1, N equal to 5. Okay, use your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, CEC. Clear the memory for financial calculator. And then you plug in 5. And then you press N. 2000. You press present value, positive. The PMT, 514 ringgit, 0.14 cents, you put it negative. That's mean today you receive 2,000. Every year you need to pay 500. Okay, so put it negative, cash outflow, and then you compute IY, you get 9%. Okay, to calculate interest rate for annuity non-annual compounding, example, Jacob can borrow 2,000 ringgit today to be repaid in the equal annuity payment of $514.14 per year for the next 5 years. Calculate his interest rate if it is charged monthly, which is M equal to 12. Okay, so present value is 2,000. PMT divided by number of M, which is 12. So PMT become 42.85. IY equal to question mark. So you need to calculate IY. M equal to 5. M equal to 12. And N, 5 years times 12 becomes 60. Okay, so you clear up all the data in the financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, CEC. You plug in 60 equal to N, 2,000 present value, 42.85 negative PMT, compute IY, you get 0.86%. Then you need to multiply by number of M, which is 12. So you get 10.36%. Next, how to calculate PMT using financial calculator. PMT means annuity amount. Okay, so that's mean now we want to calculate the PMT. So we use compute PMT to calculate PMT or annuity amount. For example, this is for annual compounding. How much do you need to pay every year if you borrow 100,000 today for period 9 years at interest rate 4% compounded annually? Okay, so you have present value 10,000. PMT every year is question mark. You don't know how much you need to pay every year. N equal to 9. Interest rate is 4%. M equal to 1. Interest rate charged annually. So this is annual compounding. So second, reset, enter, CEC. Clear the data in your financial calculator. You press 9 and then press N. 4%, you press 4 and then IY. 1,000 PV and then you compute PMT. Okay, then you get answer 13.449.30. Okay, how to calculate annuity amount for non-annual compounding? Okay, how much you need to pay every year if you borrow 100,000 today for period 9 years at interest rate 4% compounded quarterly. So you have present value 1,000, PMT question mark. IY 4% divided by number of M, which is compounding quarterly. M equal to 4, so you get 1%. M equal to 4. Number of years, 9 years times M, 4, you get 36. So you clear data in your financial calculator. Second, reset, enter, CEC. Okay, you press 36 and then N. 1%, you press 1, I1. 100,000 PV and then compute PMT, you get 3,321.43. This is annuity, but you non-annual compounding, so you need to times by 4. So you times 4 number of M, so you get 13,285 ringgit and 72 cents. Okay, that's all for time value of money. Thank you.